Well, hello. Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about Santa Lucia, the new airport that is going to be opening up. Well, it's an old airport that they're refurbishing, but they're initiating the construction program as of today. And it was hard. It was a hard time coming. The opposition, people who had vested interests in keeping the old airport, the one that they had started in Texcoco, and it was the one that was being built in the middle of a lake that had boggy ground and that was supposed to be sinking about a meter every year. And they had already planned on all the money they were going to make trying to keep it from sinking every year. So that was a big deal for them. Plus, they had already bought all the land around it at a cheap price before they started the program. And they had already planned on making, knocking down all the houses and making businesses like a kind of like a Santa Fe style um, stores, there, so that they had already planned all these businesses. So they were fighting tooth and nail not to have this airport built. But thank goodness today it's going to be done. It's starting as of today, and AMLO didn't pull any of the stops. He just went for it. So anyway, this is the begin. A few of the other officials have spoken, but I'm just going to translate the part where the president talks about the opening, the grand opening, and starting of the construction for the airport. It's called General Felipe Angeles in Santa Lucia. It's the airport. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start it. Well, what do you know? Okay. So we're going to start with the right display.
El presidente México realizará la activación de la alarma sonora para dar inicio a los trabajos con unidades de maquinaria pesada.
So the initiation of construction of the airport, that was what the flag said. And they're telling him to look up. So there, it's a big deal. There's a video of what, I guess it's like a virtual video of what it's supposed to look like. Pretty cool. Look at that. So that's what it's supposed to look like when it's done. Isn't technology wonderful? We can see what it's supposed to look like. Look at, you could see all the little vendor spots they're gonna have. And shade for people. Oh, and that's on the top floor. Looks like it's multi-decks. Wow. That is way cool. So what they did is they're building the airport where the old airport used to be. And so they're just gonna fix it all up because it'll cost a lot less than making a new one in the middle of what used to be a lake. They did a lot of damage to the environment, and the environmentalists did not complain at all about that one. But they complained about putting it where it exists now, which was really crazy to me. So check it out. Look at the virtual ladies. That's pretty cool. I love it. They did such an awesome job. Look at the tower. Lots of walkways. Awesome. And check out all the businesses in there. Wide stairs. But anyway, so there was a lot of people fighting against building this airport. They made it very difficult. And finally he had to say, because they didn't, also where the military Air Force Base and the Santa Lucia, they're both going to be made into one big airport. So the military Air Force Base is, part of the safety and security. So that's what they had to finally use to put a stop to all the the illegal blocks that the business corporations and the money controllers, international money controllers, they were really putting it out there. So it was hard for them to actually get this started. So it has been a struggle. And it's quite impressive that they finally are at this place, at this stage of it.
Estas son las palabras que dirige el licenciado Andrés Manuel López Obrador, presidente de los Estados Unidos mexicanos y comandante supremo de las Fuerzas Armadas.
So they're saying that the president's going to speak, the commander of the armed forces, or supreme commander of the armed forces.
Amigas, amigos,
so my friends,
integrantes de las Fuerzas Armadas,
and the people that are comprise the armed forces,
ciudadanos, mexicanos todos,
citizens and Mexicans all alike, I am very happy to be here for this act
llamar histórico,
that we can call historical,
porque inicia la construcción de este aeropuerto civil,
because it initiates the construction of this civil airport
y militar,
and military,
General Felipe Angeles.
And it's General Felipe Angeles also airport.
Es el inicio de una obra importante y también
it's the initiation of a important work as well.
Es el poder demostrar en los hechos.
It's also to be able to show with actions, to demonstrate
que se pueden resolver los problemas,
that problems can be resolved
con eficiencia,
with efficiency,
con austeridad,
with austerity,
con honestidad.
with honesty.
Se está poniendo en práctica
So we are putting into practice
otro proyecto
another project
distinto al que se había iniciado,
which is different from the one that had been initiated,
solucionar el problema de la saturación
to resolve the problem of the saturation of the actual airport.
Aeropuerto de la Ciudad de México.
Of the city of Mexico.
Esta es una decisión trascendente.
This is a transcendent decision.
Optado por cancelar ese proyecto.
I would have opted to cancel that project
iniciar
and initiate
esta nueva obra
this new work
con el mismo propósito
with the same purpose
de resolver la saturación
of
que
resolving
tiene el aeropuerto Benito
the
Juárez
the
en la
saturation
Ciudad de México.
that the airport Juárez has.
La política es, entre otras cosas,
But politics, among other things,
optar entre inconvenientes.
is to opt between inconvenient things.
Siempre hay que decidir.
There's always decisions to make.
Se equivoca uno menos
But you make less mistakes
cuando se pone por delante el interés nacional.
but you make less mistakes when you put national, international interests before your own.
Cuando por encima de los intereses personales
When it's above personal interests,
por legítimos que sean,
no matter how legitimate they can be,
se sitúa el interés colectivo, el interés de la nación.
and you situated the collective interests and the interests of the nation.
Y ese es el principio que aplicamos
And this is the principle that we have applied or are applying
para tomar la decisión
to make the decision
de construir este aeropuerto en Santa Lucía.
in order to construct this airport in Santa Lucia.
Además,
Besides that,
se refrendó esta decisión
this decision was made into a referendum
con una consulta ciudadana.
with a citizen consultation,
Porque debe de haber democracia participativa.
because there has to be a democracy which has participation,
Y se tiene que tomar en cuenta la opinión de todos.
and you have to take into account the opinion of everyone.
Y al final,
And in the end,
decidir de acuerdo al mandato de las mayorías.
and then at the end, you have to decide according to the decision or mandate of the majority.
En la democracia es el pueblo el que manda,
But in democracy, it's the people that are in charge.
es el pueblo el que decide.
They are the ones that decide.
Y todos somos iguales.
And we are all alike.
Todos los votos tienen el mismo peso.
All the votes have the same weight.
Todos contamos,
We all count,
ricos o pobres.
rich and poor, or
Por
poor.
eso
For this reason,
estamos aquí
we are
en
here
este día
on this day,
importante
an important
en
day,
que se da el banderazo de inicio
when we are
de las
giving
obras
the
del
initiation
aeropuerto
to the works of the
Felipe
airport,
Angeles de Santa
Felipe
Lucía.
Angeles of Santa Lucia.
¿Por qué consideramos mejor esta opción
Why do we
que
consider
la
this
de
option
construir
better
el aeropuerto
than
en el
to,
lago de Texcoco.
than to construct this airport
Va a haber
in the
tiempo,
lake of Texcoco.
la historia lo dirá,
There will be time, and history will
para
tell
demostrar,
and will demonstrate.
hablarán los hechos.
The actions
Pero
will speak.
adelanto de que
But I'm letting you know in
fue mejor
advance
esta decisión.
that this decision was
Porque
good
este es un mejor suelo
because
para
this is
construir.
a better floor to
Aquí
construct
donde
upon.
estamos,
Here where we are,
el suelo firme.
a firm ground.
Allá es un lago,
And over there it's a lake.
no hay tierra firme.
There is no firm ground, no firmament.
Solo a 30, 40, 50 metros de la superficie.
So at about 30 to 40 meters from the superficial area is where the firm ground is.
Es un lago, es fango.
It is a lake. It's boggy and soggy.
Es una zona de hundimiento permanente.
It's a zone of permanent flooding. It's a flood zone.
Claro que se puede hacer un aeropuerto hasta en medio de un océano.
But yes, you could make an airport in the middle of even an ocean.
Pero cuesta mucho
But it's very expensive
construirlo y mantenerlo.
to construct it and to maintain it.
Por eso fue mejor
For that reason, it was better
el optar por Santa Lucía,
to opt for Santa Lucia,
por este suelo firme.
for this firm ground.
También se decidió hacer aquí el aeropuerto
Also, we decided to make here the airport
porque va a costar menos.
because it will be less expensive.
Lo explicaba el licenciado Julio Scherrer.
The attorney or licenciado Julio Cherry was explaining it.
No podemos hacer obras faraónicas
We cannot do pharaonic works
habiendo tantas necesidades.
when there is so much necessity
En nuestro país,
within our country.
ese aeropuerto proyectado en Texcoco
That airport, which was projected in Texcoco,
en una estimación
in one estimation,
inicial iba a costar 300,000 millones de pesos.
was supposed to cost 300,000 million pesos.
Mucho dinero.
That's a lot of money.
Y a esto habría que añadir los imprevistos.
And to that, you would have to add unforeseen costs.
Baste poner el ejemplo del tren
So let's just give you the example of the train.
Toluca, Ciudad de México.
In Toluca, the city of Mexico,
Que se estimó inicialmente en 30,000 millones.
initially they estimated that it was going to be 30 million or 30,000 million.
Se han ejercido 60,000
And they've already exercised 60,000 million.
y para terminarlo se requieren otros 30,000.
And in order to finish it, it will require another 30,000 million pesos.
De lo estimado, $30,000 millones a $90,000 millones.
So from the original estimate of 30,000 million to 90,000 million.
Si esto, aunque es un simple supuesto,
If this is, even though it's just a simple supposition or example,
se hubiese repetido
were to
en el
be,
caso del
would be repeated in the case of
proyecto de Texcoco,
the project of Texcoco,
estaríamos hablando de una inversión cercana a $1 billón de pesos.
the actual cost would be nearly $1 billion pesos.
Por eso es mucho mejor esta opción.
That is why this option is so much better.
No vamos a ejercer esos 300,000 millones.
We're not even going to have to use those 300,000 million
Estimados,
that were estimated.
aún con el pago de los bonos, la liquidación,
Even including the payment of the bonuses that were already promised and the liquidation
a las empresas constructoras,
that was paid to the construction companies that had initiated the work
que habían iniciado los trabajos en Texcoco,
in Texcoco.
en total,
In total,
cuando mucho,
at most,
se van a ejercer 180,000 millones.
it will be 180,000 million pesos.
Es decir, nos vamos a ahorrar 120,000 millones de pesos.
So we will be saving 120,000 million pesos.
Pero con ventajas adicionales.
But also with additional advantages,
Porque la construcción en Texcoco, los 300,000 millones, era para construir 2 pistas.
but because also the construction, the 300,000 that they had requested, or they had said it was going to cost, was just to make 2 strips.
Y cancelar 3
And they would cancel 3 strips
pistas. Porque se iba a clausurar el actual aeropuerto de la Ciudad de México,
because they were going to close down the actual airport in the city of Mexico.
y este aeropuerto militar de
And they were also going to close this military airport
Santa Lucía
in Santa Lucia
por interferencia aérea.
because they said there was air interference.
Es decir,
That is to
se
say,
iban a construir 2 pistas,
they were going to make 2
íbamos a perder
lanes
3.
and we were going to lose 3.
Se estimaba también terminar el proyecto de Texcoco
And they also estimated that they would be finishing that airport in Texcoco
en el 2024.
in the year 2024.
Nos íbamos a pasar todo el sexenio
And we would have the full 6 years
construyendo
construction
esas 2 pistas.
for those 2 lanes.
Ahora,
And now,
como aquí lo ha dicho, y es una palabra de honor,
but here, as it has been said, and it's a word of honor,
que se va a hacer realidad,
that will be made a
vamos a
reality.
construir las 2 pistas
We are going to construct 2 more strips
para la aviación civil en Santa Lucía,
for the civil aviation in Santa Lucia
en 2 años y medio.
and it will be in 2.5 years.
Estaba haciendo la cuenta
And I was making the figuring out in my head,
y vamos a estar inaugurando
and we will be inaugurating
este nuevo aeropuerto
this new airport
en abril
in April
del 2022.
of 2022.
Si ya andamos en esto, yo le voy a pedir
And so I'm going to be asking, since we're on this,
que procuremos inaugurarlo el 21 de marzo.
so he says he would like to ask the workers, the team, to try and do it by the 21st of March
del 2022.
in the year 2022. It looks like they want to.
El ingeniero Vallejo pues,
The engineer, Mr. Vallejo,
tiene mucha energía acumulada
he has accumulated a lot of energy
porque como se interpusieron los amparos,
because there was so many stalls that were placed legally,
y él ya está listo
and he's been ready.
para iniciar. Estoy seguro que va a cumplir
And he's been anxious to start, and I'm sure he's going to be able to comply
con este compromiso.
with this commitment.
Y vamos a contar para el 21 de marzo del 22
And so we're going to be counting on the 21st of March in the year 2022
con un sistema aeroportuario metropolitano
for the new Metropolitan Airport.
que también es importante
Which is also very important
tomar en cuenta
to take this
que
into
se van a
account,
tener aquí 2 pistas
that we will have here 2 new strips
de aviación civil,
for civil airplanes
la pista militar
and the military airway.
3.
It will have 3.
Las 2 pistas del aeropuerto actual Benito Juárez
And then there's going to be the 2 from the actual existing airport Benito Juárez,
y la pista del aeropuerto de Toluca.
and then also the one from Toluca. There's another airport there too.
En el caso de Toluca, y aquí está el ciudadano gobernador,
And in the case of Toluca, the governor is here now,
que lo sabe muy bien,
and he knows
ese
it,
aeropuerto
and he knows it very well, that airport has
tiene capacidad
had the capacity
para recibir más vuelos,
to receive more flights
para poder ayudar mucho a satisfacer la demanda
in order to be able to satisfy the demand
de pasajeros.
for passengers.
Ya estamos con el gobernador, con el secretario de Comunicaciones y Transporte,
And we've already been with the governor and the Secretary of Transport and Communications,
ingeniero Javier Jiménez Espriu,
which is the engineer Javier Jiménez Espriu,
que aprovecho para hacerle un reconocimiento
and I'm going to take this opportunity to give him recognition
por todo su trabajo
for all his hard work
en esta materia de comunicación
in this matter regarding communications,
como responsable de la Secretaría, que es la coordinadora
as well as the coordinator secretary
de la construcción de este aeropuerto.
for the construction of this airport.
Su función normativa de la Secretaría de Comunicaciones y Transportes.
In the communication in the normal job for communication and transports.
Estamos hablando porque el aeropuerto de Toluca también se integra
But we're talking about this because the Toluca airport is also going to be integrated
al sistema
into this system.
y esto va a permitir
And this will permit
un mayor número de vuelos,
a larger number of flights,
de más transportación aérea.
and there will be more airport transport.
Recapitulando, es la pista de Toluca,
So recapitulating, it's the airway in Toluca
dos del aeropuerto Benito Juárez,
and 2 from the airport Benito Juárez,
lo que suma 3 pistas,
which has 3 of its own airways,
y 3 aquí, 6 pistas.
and then 3 more here. That's 6 lanes.
Vamos a resolver el problema para el largo plazo.
And so we're resolving the problem for a long term.
Para, según los técnicos,
To secure the technical issues
80 años
for 80 years
hacia adelante.
ahead.
Con este sistema,
With this system,
quiero hacer un reconocimiento especial
and I want to give special recognition to
a las Fuerzas Armadas
the armed
por
forces
su apoyo,
for their support,
por su respaldo.
for their backing us.
Se podía tomar la decisión, tener la idea general,
Because they could have made a decision and had the general idea,
pero lo importante es tener la capacidad
but what is important is to have the capacity
ejecutiva
for the executive
que se tiene en la Secretaría de la Defensa,
which we have in the
esta
Secretary of
institución
Defense.
de instituciones,
This institution of institutions,
que es la Secretaría de la Defensa,
which is the Secretary of Defense,
desde luego también la Secretaría de Marina,
but also the Secretary, of course, of the Marines,
que trabajan de manera conjunta las Fuerzas Armadas
that work in conjunction with the armed forces
de México.
of Mexico.
Por eso
And for this reason,
se va a convertir en realidad
we're going to convert it into a reality,
este ideal,
this ideal,
porque tenemos capacidad
because we have the
de
capacity,
ejecución, capacidad operativa.
the cooperative capacity.
Los ingenieros del ejército mexicano
2 engineers of the military, Mexican military,
son una garantía
are a guarantee
por su profesionalismo,
due to their professionalism,
por su eficiencia,
due to their efficiency,
por su vocación de trabajo,
due to their vocation to their work,
por su disciplina.
due to their discipline.
Esto nos da la confianza de que vamos a cumplir
This gives us the confidence that we are going to be able to comply
en tiempo, en forma,
in time with form,
con el presupuesto que
with the budget
está estimado
that we have estimated
para la construcción de este aeropuerto,
for the construction of this airport, particularly
75,000 millones de pesos,
75,000 million
en
pesos,
lo que tiene que ver
with
con la construcción.
related to what has to do with simply the construction.
Hablé de 180
And I was talking about 180
por los bonos que se pagaron,
but that was because of all the fees we had to pay, the bonuses we had to pay to the ones that had been contracted,
por la liquidación a empresas,
and for the
sí, en
liquidation
términos
of the
muy
companies. Just to let you
generales.
know.
Pero este aeropuerto
But this airport
estima va a significar una inversión de alrededor de 75,000 millones.
so the actual expense to make this airport is only 75,000. All the other money was the fees that they had to pay to get out of the mess that they got into with the companies that they hired to build the other airport in the middle of the lake.
Millones de pesos. Contamos
And we're
con el
counting
presupuesto
on that budget
para iniciar.
to initiate.
Ya tenemos
And we already have that money,
presupuesto.
that budget.
Nunca se va a detener la obra por falta
And we will never be withholding or stopping the work due to lack of funds.
de presupuesto. Es muy importante, repito, el apoyo
And it is very important, I repeat, the support
de las Fuerzas Armadas.
from the armed forces.
Muy importante también
It is also very
porque
important
la forma es fondo que este aeropuerto lleve el nombre
and also it's important that this airport has the name
del general Felipe Angeles.
of the General Felipe Angeles,
Que está cumpliendo este año
that this year is getting to the age of,
el mes de noviembre,
in the month of November,
100 años
100
de
years
su fusilamiento,
since he was,
de
that it's been 100 years since he faced the firing squad.
lo que consideramos fue un crimen
From what we consider to have been a crime
a un general profesional
that was committed against a general that was professional,
un general de mucha honra,
a very honorable general
de mucho prestigio,
with lots of prestige.
posiblemente,
Quite possibly,
estoy pensando en voz alta,
I am thinking out loud,
el general
in that general,
con más
he was
humanismo
the general with the most
que se haya
humanism
tenido en la historia de nuestro país.
that has ever existed in the history of our country.
Felipe Angeles.
Felipe
Es un
Angeles.
reconocimiento
So this is a
a este
recognition
gran general,
to this great
por
general
cierto, hidalguense,
that was from Hidalgo,
aquí,
Hidalguense,
muy cerca
that it's very near
de
here.
Santa Lucía.
It's very close to Santa Lucia.
Está el estado de Hidalgo,
There's the state of Hidalgo,
donde nació el general
where the
Felipe Angeles.
general
Este
was
es
born.
su homenaje,
So this is his homage.
además de recordarlo siempre con afecto y con cariño.
Besides that, we will always remember him with affection and endearment.
Es para nosotros
It is for us
muy importante, reitero,
very important, I reiterate,
vamos a estar pendiente para que no se detenga
we are going to be paying close attention so that it is not detained,
esta obra.
this work.
Es importante decir también que
It is very important to also say
como enfrentamos una especie de sabotaje,
since we confronted some sort of some form of sabotage here
legal,
legally,
porque se interpusieron 140 amparos,
because they had put 140 stays and requests to stop the work.
yo creo que nunca había sucedido una cosa parecida.
I believe that there had never occurred anything quite like it before
En lo que corresponde a una obra pública,
when it comes to some kind of public work.
y se cumplió legalmente
And they did it legally
con todo el procedimiento
with all the procedures
hasta que el día de ayer ya la autoridad judicial
up until the day yesterday. The judicial authorities
nos permitió iniciar esta obra
permitted us to initiate this work.
Como había un grupo interesado en que no se llevara a cabo esta obra,
Because there was a group of us that had interest in that this work not ever be finished or come to
a los
fruition.
cuales, por cierto, no los vemos como enemigos.
But for certainty, we do not see them as enemies.
Nosotros no tenemos enemigos,
We have no enemies,
ni queremos tenerlos.
nor do we want to have them.
Tenemos adversarios,
We have adversaries.
siempre ha sido así en la historia de México.
Always it has been like this in the history of Mexico, in the story of the world,
En la historia de nuestro país,
in the history of our country. There has always been two great
agrupamientos,
groupings,
los liberales y los
the
conservadores.
liberals and the conservatives.
Ahora, los conservadores
And now the conservatives,
no están contentos.
they're not happy now.
¿Qué es el conservadurismo? Pues es mantener
So what is the conservatism? Well, it's to support
las cosas como estaban,
to maintain things the way they were,
mantener el statu quo,
to maintain the status quo,
conservar privilegios.
to conserve their privileges.
Eso se ha enfrentado siempre
And we have always had to confront this
en la historia y sobre todo en el periodo de la reforma y de la intervención.
since the period of reform and intervention.
los conservadores no querían los cambios, no querían las reformas.
But the conservatives did not want the change. They did not want the reforms.
Y se atrevieron incluso a ir al extranjero a traer a un príncipe.
They even dared to go to a foreign country and bring a prince,
A una emperatriz,
some kind of emperor,
para que dominaran y gobernaran México.
so that they could govern and they could dominate Mexico.
Pero los liberales de ese entonces, encabezados
But the liberals at that time, who were headed by
por Juárez,
Juárez,
mantuvieron una fe inquebrantable en la
they maintained a unbreakable faith
causa que defendían
to the cause that they defended.
y se logró restaurar la república.
And they were able to restore the republic.
Se alejó del sistema monárquico
And so they made the monarchic type of government go away,
y se afianzó nuestra independencia.
and we gained our independence.
Se logró la segunda independencia de México.
And so they gained the second independence now.
Pues siempre han habido conservadores,
But there have always been conservatives,
pero no por eso los podemos ver como enemigos.
but because of that reason, we don't have to look at them as enemies.
A destruir. Pueden ser adversarios a vencer.
So they can be our adversaries and we have to triumph.
Y eso, con argumentos, vencerlos,
And that we do with arguments, and we make them
con la razón, con el derecho.
using reason and correctness.
Nada por la fuerza, decía el presidente Juárez.
And Juárez used to say, nothing by force,
Todo por la razón y el derecho.
all using reason and correctness.
Por esa embestida se tuvo que optar por considerar esta obra como de seguridad nacional.
And due to those issues, we had to consider this work as a national necessity
Para poder aligerar el proceso legal.
in order to expedite the legal processes.
Pero ya pasó
But now this is over,
este proceso legal
this legal process.
y ahora puedo informarles a todos los mexicanos
And now I can inform all Mexicans
que esta obra que se construye en una instalación militar y que
that this work, which is being constructed on a military zone,
sí tiene que considerarse como una obra de seguridad nacional,
does have to be considered a work for national security.
va a tener, a pesar de eso,
And even with that, it's going to have
toda la información transparente,
it will have all information available with transparency.
se va a manejar toda la información con transparencia.
And all information will be handled with transparency.
A partir de hoy, esto me lo informó
So as of today, we have informed
el general Crescencio Sandoval
the General Crescencio Sandoval
y el general Vallejo.
and General Vallejo
Se va a difundir toda la información
that they are going to be making all the information available
sobre la construcción del aeropuerto.
relating to the construction of the airport.
Transparencia
Transparency,
completa,
completely,
no ocultar absolutamente
not
nada.
hiding or occluding absolutely
De
nothing.
modo que todos los ciudadanos
So in this way,
van a
all
dar seguimiento.
citizens can follow it.
le vamos a dar seguimiento a esta obra.
We can follow this work.
Agradezco mucho el apoyo
And I
de
appreciate
los servidores públicos
the support very much of the public
participado
servants that have participated
en este importante proyecto,
in this important project.
a Román Meyer,
Roman Mayer,
secretario de Desarrollo Urbano, que nos
Secretary
ayudó
of
mucho
Urban Development,
para
that helped
adquirir
us a lot
terrenos
to acquire the lands
adicionales
that were
a
additionally
la base
needed
aérea de Santa Lucía
for the airport base of
Van a ayudar
Santa Lucia,
para la construcción
for the construction
de instalaciones,
of the
de
installations
comercios,
of
de
commerce,
hoteles,
hotels.
lo que se está haciendo para contar con
So-
el derecho de vía
Which is being done in order to count with the right of way.
del Estado de México, Alfredo del Mazo, nos ayudó mucho
And Alfredo de
para
Mazo
la
from
regularización
Mexico helped
de
us
la tenencia de la tierra
with the acquisition of the land.
y hemos contado
And
con
we
el apoyo
have
de
counted
muchas
with the
muchas
support of many
autoridades
authorities,
municipales,
municipalities,
estatales,
state authorities,
del gobierno federal
the federal government,
y
and
seguimos
also
contando
we
con
are
el apoyo, con
counting
el respaldo
and continuing to
de
count
los
on the backing
ciudadanos.
of the citizens,
de quienes nos están avalando porque
We-
saben que no les vamos a fallar.
who are giving us their they believe in us because they know we are not going to fail them.
No vamos nosotros a traicionar la confianza
And we are not going to betray the confidence
que han depositado
that they have deposited,
millones de mexicanos
these millions of
en
Mexicans,
este nuevo gobierno.
in this new
Se
government.
va a convertir en
It will be converted
una realidad
in a reality,
la cuarta
the
transformación
fourth
de la
transformation
vida pública de México.
of the public life
Agradecerle
of
mucho
Mexico.
también
And also to show my appreciation very much to
a los medios de información,
the informational media.
cada vez más profesionales,
Every day they seem to be more professional,
más objetivos,
more objective,
más cercanos al pueblo, a la sociedad,
they have become closer to the people and society,
distantes como debe ser
and they distance themselves as it should be
del poder,
from the powers,
tanto del poder económico como del poder político,
not only from the power of economics but also political powers,
y con apego siempre a la verdad.
and also adhering to the truth always.
Muchas gracias a todas, a todos ustedes.
And thank you very much to all of you.
Y repito, hoy es un día histórico
And I repeat,
y que viva el nuevo aeropuerto
Today is a historical day, and may the new airport live.
De Santa Lucia.
Of Santa Lucia.
Y que viva el general Felipe Angeles.
And that the General Felipe Angeles live.
¡Viva México!
Long live Mexico.
¡Viva México! ¡Viva México!
So he says, long live Mexico 3 times. Wow. My goodness, that was touching. I'm a bundle of blubbering, crying fool. But I find that this was such a struggle. And just really proud. And also, I want to say that this president has given Mexicans back their pride. And, you know, before being Mexican, with the amount of corruption was an embarrassment. But with him, we can have a sense of self-worth, I guess you could say. Anyway, so I loved this video they did. This is very nice. Have a great day.